we should get started. We're right up here. It's 12 o'clock my time, and I know Carl's in a different time zone, and people on here are from all different countries. So welcome wherever you're calling in from. We're really excited to be here to talk about creative icebreakers with AI and Padlet. Carl has all kinds of excellent ideas he's going to share with us. It's going to be interactive, so you're going to get to play along with us. It's just really fun to have you here, Carl. We've known each other for a couple of years, and
Yeah,
Carl has so many creative ideas no matter what's happening in technology. I feel like he's got some other spin on it that he shares with us and makes it more fun for adults and for kids. And so thank you for joining us. We're really, it's a real pleasure to have you here. I know you're going to introduce yourself, but I have to
yeah,
say that you're, have just such great experience with education. So you have that education lens, but you also kind of know what's happening with technology, so you can kind of integrate that really well. You host tons of podcasts and conferences, and I've been to a couple of those. And we'll talk a little bit later about the brand new book that you have out too, which I'm excited to hear more about.
awesome. Yeah, and thank you, Zareen and Tosh and the folks at Padlet for having me today. Zareen, also an amazing educator from San Francisco, who we met when you were working in that job in San Francisco Unified. And then excited to see that you joined the team at Padlet. Padlet, of course, a tried and true tool, something I've used for, I always call it an old tool. It's been around forever. It's been around for 8 years, or something, it's in ed tech circles, that's old. But what I love is all the refresh and all the new things and all the stuff that I've learned in the last few months and some things I've learned in the last week that even you showed me that hopefully you'll be able to walk us through a little bit too. But yeah, here are my numbers. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Carl Hooker. I'm based in Austin, Texas. So you heard the Texas song, those of you that were joining us just a minute ago. 25 years in education, hard to believe, I know. The gray and the beard. By the way, that, someone asked earlier, is that the AI image of me on the other slide? No, this was my, you'll see this guy later, but this is my attempt at my recreating myself in Padlet's AI tool. So 25 years in education, 8-time author. We'll talk about the book in a second. 5-time podcast host. And Zareen's been on one of those podcasts. 2-time bar owner. So if you look in the background of my picture there, you may notice something there. I actually used AI to describe kind of a blurred out bar scene in the background. 3-time father and 1-time husband, knock on wood. Yes, all my exes don't live in Texas because I live with the one person I've ever dated in my life, and she's who I'm married to and share an office with. She's standing, oh no, she was right behind me. You guys can't see her. But I'm excited today to say that the new book that Zareen mentioned, Learning Evolution, we're going to give away 4 copies today to some lucky winners. We have 4 different challenges that we're going to get through today, and 4 lucky contestants will be walking away with a copy of this book. So you have to participate to win. This is, I'm going to talk a little bit, but mostly it's going to be you guys doing a lot of the work. So most webinars, you go, you sit, you listen for an hour, you put it in the background while you do some other work and answer email. No, that's not happening today. I'm apologizing in advance. If you were hoping just to put this on in the background, sorry, you have to participate if you want to win, and just because it's fun to actually go through these activities as well. Anyway, uh you only did one person or still married. Yeah, because Sean, everybody else before that I just forgot, just to be honest. And I know Sean too joined us from New York. So you guys can't see those. Oh, some of them you can, hosts and panelists, and some say everybody. Okay, good. Yeah, make sure you choose everyone. We can see your chat. We're going to need that in a second because there's going to be another contest where we use the chat. But let's start out. It's an icebreaker challenge day, so let's go with icebreaker number 1. So what I need you to do is, you can do this in the chat if you want to. You could do it on a piece of paper. You could do it, just open up a note, open up a doc, whatever, open up a Padlet, whatever you want to do. I want you to write down these 5 favorite things. So we still have some folks checking in. That's awesome. Welcome, 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 everybody. Yeah, so your favorite animal, food, hobby, place to visit, and color. Okay, so we'll give you about 30 seconds or so. And again, don't spend a lot of time. I mean, this isn't any type of personality test or quiz. I'm not going to analyze the data later. So just the first thing that comes to your mind: favorite animal, favorite food, favorite hobby, favorite place to visit. May take a while. Judy's already got hers in the chat. Thank you, Judy. Throwing those in there too. And I realize now, of course, you guys showing these in the chat, we may be able to discern. This will be good, actually, because I want to be able to see if we can backwards engineer on the next part of this what some of you have placed. Allison being very official. She's got her topic titles with her actual fillers. You just have to put the answers in, but if you want to write all that, you can. All right, so we got a lot of people now. People are just throwing in words. That's fine. Put them all. If you can put them all in one chat bubble, that might help. But again, the big thing is for you to know what it is, because in a second, we're going to change the slide and I'm going to give you your instructions, which will get us into our first activity. This is our first icebreaker activity. Now, Some of you may or may not know that back in October, and I discovered this almost accidentally. I was actually doing a workshop in Maine, and I use Padlet all the time. But at the time, I was saying, go to this tool that I won't name because it's a different AI generating tool. And I said, go over to this tool, log in, make an account, create an image, take the image, download the image, put the image into Padlet. And while I was doing this, someone raised their hand and said, you know that last week Padlet just introduced an I can't draw feature? I was like, what are you talking about? That's going to save me so much time. So yeah, we're going to use that. So we're going to go to the next slide right now. So again, if you haven't had a chance to list those items, that's okay, because here it is. You see the instructions on the slide as well. So first things first, we need to get you into a particular Padlet, which I've listed up there right now, mrhook.it/fave. And it's all lowercase. You don't need to do the HTTPS or www or any of that. Just put mrhook.it/fave, put it into your browser. Should bring you into the Padlet. I'm going to keep an eye on the Padlet, which is open over on my end. Zareen or Tosh, give me a thumbs up if you got in there. Okay, nodding. Should see the Aurora Borealis in the background. That's a picture from my backyard. Not really. That's a built-in Padlet wallpaper. They knew it was coming, guys. So they already had the wallpaper built in at Padlet. They knew the Northern Lights were going to be there. Okay. Thank you, Matt. Also telling me in the chat that he's on. Great. Okay. So you've gotten in there. Now, like with any Padlet, you have to kind of find that little plus button. Now it's floating. It may be a different color. I think mine is green. It may be green on your screen too. I see on the example here, it's white with a blue button, but you need to find that little plus button and you'll see a pop-up menu come up that may give you subject. You can write some words, but you're really looking for are these extra little items here. You see my item number 2 on the screen. Those are all the different things you can do. Attachments, links, photographs, things like that. And there's this new thing that's a +12. It used to be, I think even 2 weeks ago, it was ... Now it's +12, which tells you that there's 12 other features that you can open up if you tap on that button. So tap on the +12, scroll a little bit, and you'll find the I can't draw, which you see here. It's kind of a green. So you have to do all of this first. So there's a lot of steps, right? Step 1, get to the Padlet. Step 2, go ahead and hit the plus button so you can launch that little menu. Step 3, find that little +12. Step 4, find the I can't draw. And then you can start entering your prompt. Oh, you see 11, Cindy? Oh, some of you see 11, not 12. Okay, that may be a setting I have on my end too. And that's fair. It may be 11, it may be 12, depending on what setting you have on your Padlet. But anyway, and I think mine was +11 at one point, and maybe a different account I'm using on this one too. Yeah, and then Zareen and Tosh are going to walk us through ways to make this even faster in a minute. But let's do it this way. This is the way I've done it. I've done this icebreaker with lots of activities, lots of groups. I work with teachers and leaders all over the country, especially around AI. And what I like about this is it gets you quickly into something, right? There's no real login. You just go to a link, boom. You don't have to set up a user account or anything like that. So thinking about students, especially our younger students, this is a great way to get them into something quickly and have them using AI kind of in a walled garden approach, if you will. All right, so when you're ready.
Wow, Carl, there are like 20 pictures up there already. People are ready today. It's pretty
Man,
big.
they aren't even. I got to hit refresh. Wow, they're flying in, and people are actually putting their prompts. Now, you don't have to put your prompt up on the screen, because what I'm going to do is some of these we're going to walk through and guess, but I'm going to let them fill up. So I see some of you are filling these up right now. So you already know you followed instructions well. Man, y'all are flying today. This is great. Again, just kind of walking through. I like to start with this one. We're going to get progressively harder, folks. So as you're going, these are going to get tougher and more challenging. But what I like about this one is that immediately, again, it gets you into a tool, gets you into AI image creation. You may or may not have gotten, again, depending on which your prompt was, you may get 2 choices, 3 choices, 4 choices. Padlet generally will give you 4 choices. I see Jeneth in the Padlet. She can put her name on it. Thank you, Jeneth. And colored it purple. She's changing the color of her Padlet. Y'all are getting all fancy over here. We got our Padlet engineers, our Padlet pros. What do we call that, Zareen? Do you guys have a name for, how they have like...
Yeah, super users, maybe.
Super users. They have something clever.
Yeah.
We need to... What is it, Tosh?
Padleteers.
Padleteers. There we go. Our Padleteers. The folks that already know how to change things. Yes, there we go. Jeneth knows it as well. Jinx, Jeneth says she's a Padleteer. All right. Let me switch. So I want to start looking at these. Hopefully all of you have it. And again, if you don't, I'm just going to drop the link in here. And it's for those of you that have used the I Can't Draw feature, probably you got there really fast. But I'm going to switch over to the Padlet results page here. There we go. Okay. And you know what, Zareen, this is great. I wish there was a way that I could just like see them. This is a lot going on. I wish there's a way I could see like one at a time. Do I just need to click on each one, or how? I used to do or I do the zoom in thing, but it gets you get sick after a while. What should I do?
Yeah, you can click on one at a time, but you might want to move around and see more than one. So if you click on it, it'll make it big. That's great. Also, if you click on the three dots next to any of them, you can make it into a slideshow and you can start from anywhere. So three dots, and then you go to the triangle. It's up towards the top, start slideshow.
I went all the way. There it is.
There it is. And now you suddenly have this whole Padlet is going to turn to a slideshow. You don't need to reformat. You don't need to do anything. It'll turn to a slideshow. So that's a great thing to do if you're presenting in front of a group, in front of a classroom. Even as people are adding things, you can turn this into a slideshow. The slideshow right now has images. If you had added videos or PDFs, you can interact with those things on the slideshow. So that's a really nice feature as well. You can also autoplay this slideshow over on the bottom left
Oh,
here.
down
If you
here.
just want to play a little gallery walk of everything. You can decide how long you want it on each slide. So it's a really nice built-in feature that you can play around with.
All right, we're gonna go 5 seconds on the autoplay. Then I hit play and let it go, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So I want to scan through these, but I'll pause and I can pause it, right? Oh yeah, it's got a pause button. Perfect. So again, I love quickly notice already just between the two that we just saw different images. Some of these are painted, some of these are drawing. I got to stop already because something's happening. The great thing about AI image generation is it's not fully baked yet. And so you may see some weird crossover stuff like this dog's tongue seems to be okay, I think, but they're wearing very interesting outfits. And so I've got to ask, and I don't know whose this is. So in the chat, what I want folks to do, this will be our first one. We'll try this on in the chat. What I want you to do is I want you to deconstruct this prompt for me. So tell me what the favorite animal is. And I think we know what that is in the chat. That was definitely, yeah, dogs. There's we go. Diane's in there. People jumping in their dogs or labs. I wonder if it's specific, because sometimes if you get specific, that's a good question. What's the favorite? The favorite food is pizza. Yep. Favorite color? Ooh, it could be blue. I see a lot of blues flying in. Yeah. And beach is place to visit. So I've got to ask though, like, what's the hobby here? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I don't know. Like there's some stuff on the ground. There looks like little boxes going on. Riding. Someone says sunbathing. Someone says cooking. There's also this beautiful stand kind of in the background, woodworking, possibly. Existentialism, Michael says. Yeah. They're just trying to discover myself and my dog's shuffleboard, perhaps. I might need somebody to raise their hand and tell us who, first of all, whose this is, so we can tell what was your hobby. Say, and I don't know, there's no name on it, so I can't really discern whether or not there's somebody, but I got to know what the hobby was on this. I want to know why the dog is sitting on the pizza. Yeah, right. Also, sometimes there's like a spear. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, dog training. Hobby is yard work. Thank you, Liana. Okay, awesome. So we'll keep playing through these. So we have a lot of dogs already right off the bat, Zareen and Tosh. We can see. I know the favorite color is purple, but I have no idea what the hobby. Oh my goodness, look at that. Yeah, sometimes you have to work on it, right? So she didn't see a lot of the yard work in it. Sometimes, and that's a great point that Leanne's bringing up. Sometimes you have to play with the prompt, and so maybe if you move the yard work part as a hobby forward, or using commas, or figuring out ways to do your prompts. A lot of times when it gets, if you just do it right off the bat, boom, I'm going to do exactly what he said and put it in exactly the same way. It may not. It may not be. I think that otter is actually made out of yarn. If I look at it close enough, I mean that's pretty impressive. What is in the, I guess, is it a city? There must be a city in the background. Oh, crochet. Thank you. Yes. The panda likes drinking wine, Kim said on the other one. I didn't see that one as well, but yeah, these are great. Okay, good. Let's go through a few more of them. So again, just kind of flipping through and oh my goodness. Again, what I love is also the range of styles here. We've got photographs. This person actually told us a little bit. This is great. Magenta sky. I like the alpaca there. Some pizza fans. Our first cat, I believe. Oh, and then not to be outdone, is that, and I'm trying to guess what the food would be. It could be fish, could have been broccoli. There's a sushi lover in the city there. Yummy fun. Yes. Wow. Okay. There's a lot going on here too. I'm gonna say pink, right, guys? Don't you think pink is probably the favorite color on this one? Cotton candy or ice cream? Yeah. Which is it? Kristen thinks it's oh wait, no, Ginny says it's could be ice cream. Haley also says ice cream. I'm gonna guess it might be that. And this is like where, on Nantucket maybe? I don't know. It's again somewhere in a coastal village, lovely place. Whoever that was, if you want to drop in there and tell us in the chat, like, oh, that was mine and it's this. Okay. Oh, Mackinac Island. Yeah, been there. Can't drive cars in Mackinac Island, but I'm surprised there's ice cream because I believe Mackinac Island also makes really good fudge. Right there on the northern tip of the lower peninsula of Michigan. Boston College Eagle, not Philly. Oh, come on. Go Birds. That's all Eagles all the time. And then we've got our turtle with the orange sunset. These are just amazing. Again, some of these you'll notice there's hobbies. You can clearly see food, animal, and sometimes color and location, but hobby is sometimes trickier because when you get to the fifth prompt, and a lot of this, doesn't matter if it's Padlet or any type of image generator, you'll start to notice that there's some limitations. So you can only do so much. If you put too much into it, it almost overloads it, right? And again, if you just joined, yeah, we're looking at a few of these. What I want you to do too is as I'm looking through them, of course, I'm scanning them. You guys can also be looking at the wall at the same time. If you see one that you really love, wow, how did they get they got a gift. They must have done a gift load there because gift, something else you can do, Padlet. If you see one that you really love, give it a vote up. There's unlimited votes on this. So what we're going to do in a second is if what? Okay. There's a lot to unpack here. Thank you for running out the prompt, by the way. It's a chimpanzee who enjoys fruit salad, which is noticeably absent. Paddleboarding Morocco. I have no idea what's happening with this arrow. Oh, I guess it's a paddle, maybe. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's a broken paddle. I mean, if you had a chimpanzee, for sure. And a green chimp. I love that. Yeah. Oh, our first kind of cartoon adaptation with our French fry eating zebra in the city. Ooh, a cat that loves chocolate as well. Yes. Okay. We could go forever on these, but I want to drop out of this. Let me close out of my here and go back here. So again, what I want you to do is you guys have a chance. You may notice I put on here a little bit of a thumbs up, thumbs down. We're gonna try to be positive today as much as possible. So I'm only counting the thumbs up, but take a chance, scroll through everything. And if something stands out at you that's just amazing or remarkable, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. We had some very interesting early adaptations on there at the beginning. Oh my goodness, I didn't see this one. This one escaped my attention somehow. That is amazing. I'm trying to guess again what the hobby might be on that. But again, okay, we got some thumbs up here. So looking quickly, and maybe Tosh and Zareen can help. I saw one that had 10 votes on it. Oh, I see a
Yeah.
couple that have
And
10.
I'm going to jump in and show you one other really cool thing. So
Yeah.
let's sort by votes. It'll make our lives
Oh,
easier.
thank
We're going to
you.
go into settings.
Right here.
And we're gonna, yep, and then we're gonna scroll down under layout, right, slow down, and
Oh,
then
went too fast.
at the top there, sort by. Instead of drag and drop where we put it, we're gonna sort by votes. And you just select that right there, and then it's
Boom.
gonna dynamically, it'll keep updating how many are the most votes up at the top.
Oh, you just saved me so much time. You don't know how many times I've done this where I've been like, okay, does anyone see one that's got the most? And they actually put their name on, but Jill is our winner of the first round. Jill, do me a favor. Oh, and Natasha's asking, are these pro features, Zareen?
No, they're not pro features. They are available for everybody. You can do it for free. You can make your own Padlet. You get 3 Padlets for free if you have a free account, and you can use all the features that we're going through today, including I Can't Draw.
Fully functional. Jill, if you're on the call, you won. So what we need you to do is don't put your email in the chat because then everybody will see it. Direct message or do the hosts and panelists. If you can change hosts and panelists, send us your information. You want a copy of the book. Awesome job on our first icebreaker there. And we were flying, which is good, but we're already behind. So I knew that would take a while to go through those, but those are amazing. Awesome. And congrats on that first win. So let's switch back over. Now, oh, this is the one that where Zareen's like, all right, Carl, you got to come and explain this next concept to me because I have just not figured this out before. All right, and Zareen just sent, I think Jill, yes, good, perfect. You sent her a link. Awesome. All right. So some of you have seen this in person. I know a couple of you in the chat that have seen me in person do this next activity. This is one that honestly, I can say without Padlet, I would have never had the idea. AI image generation has been around for a while and it's been refined over time. But what I like about Padlet is I'm able to do it quickly, grab my phone, pull up a Padlet wall that I already have created ahead of time. Like she mentioned, you could have 3 free walls at any time. And I'll just pull up a wall and say, okay, I got a wall on my phone. I have it bookmarked. I want to add an image right now. And Kathleen, yes, there'll be a link at the bottom where we'll actually give you at the end where you can get all my slides and all the Padlet walls, plus about 50 other bonus resources if you want them. Okay. So this challenge kind of came to be because of, again, the ease of which Padlet works. But my thought was, what if you could take, lyrics of a song and then put them into an AI image generator like we just did with I Can't Draw and see what would happen. And with that, I give you karaoke. Okay, so before we do it, let's warm up. And so what I'm going to do is on the next screen, and we're going to see how fast you can type in the chat. the next screen, I'm going to show you a set of images. Your job is to guess what you think the song is. Okay, all the images are about the same song. Just FYI, and these are all generated right out of Padlet. Okay, here we go. First one, and we're going to warm up a little bit. The first one should be a little bit on the nose. We'll see how fast you guys can guess on this one. I'm looking for not only the title, but the artist. Ooh, okay. There we go. Natasha got that one first. All right, keep track of that. We're gonna see. We might give a bonus prize out here. All right, Natasha got that one right on that one. Good. And by the way, it is, in fact.
This girl is on fire.
Sing it with me, everybody. I'm not gonna sing it. I would hurt your ears if I sang like Alicia Keys. But good job. All right, next one. You get how it works, though, right? Good warm up, right? Good warm up. All right, here we go. Firewoman by the Cult, Lori. Thank you. I love, by the way, creative other guesses. So if you think you know it, great. If you think you don't know it, but take a creative guess, that's always good too. We wanna see the differences. Okay, what about this one? Again, use the context. What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Oh, someone hit that one right fast again. That was Mr. Arnold there, coming us from New York City. That's right. Someone said Minecraft. I love that. Yes, it could be. I mean, I don't know that Minecraft's a song, but that would be a great song. Okay, next one. A little bit harder now. We're gonna get a little bit tougher on these. And some of these will be later songs, some of them may be earlier songs, some of them may be 80s songs. This particular song, I think, debuted in 1986. I love some of the different responses. Everyone thinks it's Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard, but I also see Sugar, We're Going Straight, Falling Out Boy. Yeah, Fall Out Boy. Clouds in My Coffee by Joni Mitchell. Oh, Casey, good guess, good guess. Before My Time, Samantha. Oh, man, I just feel so old. It is, in fact. Yeah. I will say this about Padlet. It would not let me put a person being sugar poured on them. So thank you, Padlet, for all the safe for kid use, because I like every time I try to put a person getting sugar poured on them, it would never let me do it. So awesome. Diabetes by Biggie Smalls. Thank you, Michael. All right, what about this one? I want candy. Oh, good guess. Candy Girl, good guess. Sweet Child of Mine, good guess. Sweet Caroline. Ooh. This could be any one of those. This is a tough one. There's a lot. It's getting a little bit harder. Not Poison, though. No, it is not by Poison, and it's not Aerosmith either. But it is. Yes, Jennifer, you got it right. There we go. Okay. Guns N' Roses. That's right. I know. I'm telling you, Kelly, I am bad at it too, so don't worry about it. Oops, this is not supposed to be in here. Anybody want to guess? No, don't write it down. Okay. That was a 90s rap artist. Don't be juvenile. Haha. See what I'm saying? Thank you, Sean. Okay, now, how about this one? Yes. This could be a couple different ones. So I've seen about 3 different guesses for this one. Ice Ice Baby is a guess. I've seen Baby, It's Cold Outside. And I've seen the Frozen theme song, but it is, in fact, you know right away. There it is. And at this point, you're getting up from your desk and you're doing the baggy pants slide from side to side. All right, last one. And then it's your turn. Again, we're telling a story with these pictures here. So I put in the entire first paragraph of a song, and these were the 6 images that Padlet generated for me on this one. So again, lots of things happening here. Lots of different things. There's some trains at nighttime. There's some people walking in a town. There's this girl kind of on a train. Orange Blossom. Thank you, Peggy. Right here in Austin. Thanks, Peggy. Good guess. Midnight Train. Midnight Train's a good guess, actually. Midnight Train to Georgia. And also Runaway Train by Soul Asylum. Now, some of you guys are getting, this is awesome. I love like the differences that we have going on here. But I think Troy even spelled it out. And now it kind of all makes sense. But you can see how if you put large prompts, there she is. Where's she living? What's she taking? Yep. And this is always a fun one too. If you do that one, by the way, in a crowd of people, they just start to scream. It's amazing. Which image generators did I use, Megan? All of those were used with I Can't Draw and Padlet. So what I would do, and I'll tell you, I'll be honest, like on some of these, this was like from my phone. So like I would be somewhere and I would hear a song and I would go, oh, I wonder if I could. And then so now my kids, or who I have teenage and tween-age girls, they're always like, Dad, put it into Padlet and let's see if it can make. So I've been using Padlet for all of these. And so pretty high quality images too. I'm not sure what's behind the scene there, Tosh or Zareen, like what you guys are using as your background AI generator, but somehow, whatever it is, it always produces amazing work. Okay, here we go. It's time for challenge 2. We're going to get you to think of an iconic song with strong visual lyrics. If you are not feeling creative today, you have Google is your friend. The internet is your friend. Think of a song. Think of something that's very visual. Think of a part of the lyric. You may have to tweak it a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Some of these, when you put it in, like Pour Some Sugar on Me, when I did that, nothing really, it didn't look anything like it. I had to do some real prompting, like person pouring sugar out of a container. So this is where you start talking about reprompting a little bit and changing some of your prompt, your engineering of your prompt, so to speak. So plug it in first. If you don't like it, change it a little bit, try to find an image or set of images that matches. If you want to just choose one, that's fine. If you want to do like I did, I took a screen grab, depending on if you're on your phone or on your computer, you can of course take a screenshot of a part of all 4 and then add that as a post as an image to your Padlet as well. But we're going to go to our next Padlet. This is mrhook.it/song, which Zareen has generously put in there. Okay. And Tosh, oh, Hive, that's what you're using in the back end. Thanks, Tosh. I'm learning so much today. I love it. Okay. I learned something else today too, and I totally forgot to show this. So I'm going to ask Zareen to show this feature in just a second, because I skipped a little bit ahead, but I made life a lot easier on you on this one. And those of you that are on the Padlet now, I'm going to give you a few more seconds to make sure you get to the link. But those of you that are on there may notice that you don't have as many choices when it comes to what you want to add today. You're only getting one. So on the previous icebreaker, remember you had to go click on plus, and then you had to click on where is it, plus 12 or plus 11, depending on what your Padlet has, and then you had to go through and do it. Okay. Now what I want you to do is plug in the image. I see some images flying in right now, and then others try to guess in the comments. So don't reveal the answer. I want to see what other people's guesses are in the comments, because we're going to kind of do this a couple different ways using comments again, and we'll see how many of you get. And it could go any which way. There's one picture in general that I'm really wondering about already just by looking at it. But you'll see it in a second. Okay, but I also want to show this. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go over to the Padlet. Hopefully everybody has it. Again, Zareen just dropped that into the chat, mrhook.it/song. And then I see, oh, someone figured out how to post multiple images. I like that too. So again, taking a screen grab of multiple images, it may help add more context. You notice what I did is I used like 4 images or 6 images to really paint a picture, because sometimes it's not just a single image that can do it. Now, if there is one image that looks great, then awesome, then use it. All right, let's switch over and take a gander at some of these. Some of them are just really interesting. But also, Zareen, walk me through. Now, you guys may have noticed, like when I went to this here, it only says now I can't draw. How did you help me set that up?
Yeah, this is a really great feature that can come in handy when you just want to constrain the options, maybe for an activity like this, or if you're working with students and you really want them all to record their voice or make a video, and it just helps kind of focus in their attention, because the 12 options are great. And sometimes we want all the options, and sometimes we just want to focus in on 1 or 2, like today. So we're going to go click on settings. And there's a lot in here, so we're going to scroll down to post fields. Let's keep going a little further.
Right there.
Post fields under posts. Yep. So you got to click a few times. So now we're in post fields. There's a couple of things you can do here. You can make your own custom fields at the bottom if you want to prompt people in text, or we have a few other options there. But right now we're going to go to attachment, and that tells you what kind of attachments you can allow there. And so right now, Carl already has this set up. He only has checked I can't draw. Up at the top is where you can select none or all. If you wanted to put them back on all of the options, you could click there, and then you could check multiple or just a few of them. And then once you come out of this window, when students or when participants click on that plus button, they'll only get that option that you chose.
Which is right here. I just realized it also said required. What happens if I make it required, Zareen?
Yeah, then you have to kind of do it, but otherwise you won't be able to publish your post until you include that. And your custom fields can be required as well if you want. So that's a nice way to also just prompt people who are participating to do what you want them to do.
Because that's happened to me before, where I've had someone say like a guitar gently weeping. But notice what I did is I put it in the subject. I didn't actually do the I can't draw. So if I made that required, it would actually not let me post it, I guess, right? It would have to,
Yeah.
they have to do the attachment requirement. That's interesting. Now that might help. That would come in handy because I get a lot of those where people are like, well, I messed up. I did it kind of fast. And yeah.
I'm going to
Okay.
share one other thing, and I
Yeah.
don't want to, hopefully this won't ruin our fun, but there are some hints on here, and they're a little bit hidden, but we've just added an alt tag to the images that we create in I Can't Draw, and this is for accessibility, but also so that we can kind of capture that. So if you click on that or mouse over that, you will be able to see the prompt in there, but try to guess before you do that, but that'll give it away in case
Oh,
you get this later.
man. Okay,
You
so I'm gonna have to change this. Oh wait, now I want to see the one that somebody did a 4 or 5 images. That's this one here. Okay, interesting. So on a single image it works, but in this case they did a screenshot, so it wasn't able to pull the alt in, I guess, because it wasn't an image that they actually searched using your tool. That makes sense. So with the alt, it's actually giving you okay. All right. So if you want to cheat, go ahead, but we don't like cheaters, so just take a good guess. But I do love that feature, and that is actually good too when you think about kids or students, especially trying to figure out how do we design this, or like someone says, how did you create that? And what would be interesting is then taking someone's prompt like this one here and saying, okay, so they use Beautiful Dreamer, but I wonder if I put that in myself, would it change different images, or would I get different image choices? Oh yeah, Purple Rain right there. They just put in Purple Rain, so that's great. I've noticed also on some of these here, this one, they actually took the entire like first kind of lyrics of the song, and it generated this too. So again, the AI is detecting, and I'm not sure what other images they picked, but it's kind of interesting to see how that shows out. I've got to see what this is, because hot in here. This fireman's throwing me up. Call the police, fireman. I'm too hot. Yeah. Okay, make a dragon want to retire. Oh, make a dragon want to retire, man. Too hot. Yeah, we know that's a Bruno Mars song. Okay. Go in. I see a lot of different guesses. Go in. I added on this one. I didn't do thumbs up, thumbs down. If you want to delete the alt tag, go ahead, Zareen. What were you going to say?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say, if you wanted to keep it super secret in the activity you were doing, you can also delete the alt tag. It's nice to have in there for accessibility, but for a particular activity, if you wanted to delete it, you could just edit your post and delete the text that's in there by default.
Oh, so go to edit on, like, let's say this one here. This is can I do it as a master of the post too?
Yeah, so go down to edit post. You just have a few more options because you're the owner.
Okay.
And then if you click on the alt where it says alt,
Right there.
and then you just click into that text. Instead of hitting the X, just highlight that text and delete it. And then hit
Good to
save.
know. Good to know.
And it's gone. So it can be super secret if you want, but it's kind of nice to be able to look at it if we wanted to.
Yep, the alt is gone on that one. But I love that too, because again, as we're teaching kids prompts, they may want to look through the prompts and see like, okay, how did you get that certain prompt or that particular prompt to work? Yes, very good. Genie in a bottle. Now, the fun thing is, like, even if you looked at some of these lyrics, you may be like, I have no idea what they're talking about. Like this one here. We've got, in restless dreams, I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of neon light. Now I'm reading it, so it's hard to actually know. The Kermit is the most amazing thing. Curious how the AM engineer managed to get that through. Yeah, that is interesting. We're going to do that in a second. Actually, we're going to talk about yeah. So what I've noticed is, and it depends. Now, Hive is one of the particular image generators that Padlet uses. Certain image generators will allow and some won't. And so again, this is a great time to have that conversation too with students. Like, okay, so Kermit, that's definitely Kermit the Frog. That wasn't just, you wrote down the lyrics, Kermit, why are there so many songs about rainbows? And it was able to detect it, right? And so then having that follow-up conversation with kids, okay, let's talk about copyright, let's talk about remixing, let's talk about parody, which I think is an important conversation to have, especially as we start to move more and more into this world of AI image generation, because, giving attribution in this case to Henson would be something we'd have a conversation with. So I do like that it's not restricted in the Hive image generator. There are certain ones where it is. Like I made a Lego version of myself the other day using Canva, which I know a lot of people use, but Canva has restrictions on a lot of that, so I wasn't able to do it. I was able to do it in Padlet though. DALL-E, Casey says DALL-E shuts down anything Disney. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, again, it kind of it depends. And so again, this is, as we're kind of growing into this AI field, we want to be able to see like where are we actually, what tools we're going to use for what purpose too. So can I do the sort on this one too?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm going to go down to sort by, and now I'm going to sort by likes. Everybody get their votes in. I'll give everybody a second. I knew this was going to be the win. I didn't even have to. Okay, thank you. I was like, don't know, stop it. I can already see it. The battle is on. You're gonna make me sing it. I didn't say I was gonna sing it though, so that's fair. I did not say I was gonna sing the song, but I do appreciate the votes there. So, okay, who did the fireman? Put your name in the chat. And if I'm gonna say this, if you've won already once, we're gonna go to the second place because I want to make sure we have a chance. 4 posts in a grid. This is Padlet format we call grid. Yeah. Oh yeah, and you have to do is change the format. So you're saying because I'm in the grid format, I could also move some things around. If I was Tosh, if I'm not in grid format, will it let me do the sort still or no?
So the grid format, right now, I believe you're just in the wall format, which kind of has the
Oh, yeah.
post all along the entire wall. But it's actually really easy to change the format. You could even do it right now. Just click the settings cog and scroll down to format, and you'll see here the different options. And it's really good to explore the different options because depending on what type of project you're doing, some of them can be much more useful. And so that grid format will just organize your posts in the kind of 4 across the Padlet instead of here where you have a ton. So it makes it a little bit more organized.
Yeah, it's not as overwhelming. I'm liking this too because it's like there's so much going on sometimes, but a lot of it is also my window size, which I know we could change as well. But what's that? Some of these I'm just hilarious with. Now the other problem I had, and maybe you guys can help me with this, is like I've done these before, but then I'll come back like the next day and like or a week later, and someone will watch the webinar and they'll keep adding stuff to it. Is there a way I want to keep all this, but I don't want to like, and I don't want to delete it or free? Is there a way I could like stall it or something?
Yeah, we do have a new feature on here where you can freeze the Padlet if you want people to stop interacting with it and just keep it the way it is. And that's under the 3 dots in the lower right.
Let me go back to this one because they're still working on that one over there.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go to this one. This is the one
3
we've already
dots.
completed. 3 dots,
And then
and
I'm
I'm
gonna
going
go to freeze
The
at
other
bottom.
thing you can do too is basically make the Padlet read only. So if you didn't want to freeze it, you could just set the privacy to read only, which would allow for no one else to post on it.
And I think that's what I think I've used the read only in the past, and then I've regretted it later because I maybe duplicated the Padlet and kept it on. And then when we started, I just noticed it adds a tag here too that tells me. So it's a nice little bright visual. And then over in the corner, my settings are gone and they've been replaced with a little snowflake. I love it. All right, awesome. So now this Padlet is frozen. This one, they're still kind of doing some voting on. It looks like our firefighter won, and I think that was Jennifer. Congratulations, Jennifer. Uptown Funk, call the police and the firemen. Too hot. We're not going to say the next part because this is a kids-friendly show, folks. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, how are we doing on time? Man, I knew this would happen. I told you we'd go too. I get too excited about some of these.
It's too much fun. I love all
Too
the
much
content.
fun.
Great.
All right, but this is good. We've warmed up now. So you notice we're getting a little bit tougher. Now we're going to do what I call storybook mashup, storybook movie mashup. So the way it works is essentially you're going to be thinking of an iconic character from a storybook. Now, we've already seen that Padlet does allow for some limited copyright usage when it comes to characters. We saw it with Kermit on the last example. So in this case, you're not going to have to spend as much time necessarily describing the character, which is good because you're going to need the time to describe the movie scene. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take an iconic character from a storybook somewhere that we're all going to be able to recognize pretty well, and then place it in a movie that maybe we're not so familiar with. But there's another component to this. Here's mine, by the way. I call it the Poohing instead of the Shining, as you can see. So I've placed Winnie the Pooh in the Shining Hotel here. So the last thing you have to do is give it a clever mashup title of some sort. Now, the Poohing isn't exactly great because I could go, if you're doing this with a bunch of middle school boys, I could see that answer already being way wrong in so many different ways. So Zareen has dropped this Padlet in. And again, we're sticking with the I Can't Draw feature today because now we're getting more and more comfortable with it. Play with your prompts. You might, again, we're getting into the last one. The last challenge will be challenge number 4, where it's going to be really tricky. You're going to have to really work on your prompt. For this one, we just want to go a little bit quicker. Again, adding a character from an iconic storybook character in a place in the scene of a famous movie. The more opposite, the better. And if you can figure out a way to cleverly get the names of the storybook character in the movie to mash up, we're looking for creativity there. Of course, we're voting on these. I think I have, I have the star rating on this one. So we'll see how this one goes, like an Uber rating as well. And again, if you're feeling like, I just don't have a creative element in my head at this moment, I always sometimes will do some Google searches, like, all right, let me think of what are some favorite, storybook characters from my childhood, or just favorite story characters of all time, and then think about, okay, what are some of my favorite movies? What are some iconic movies? And then say, oh, this would be interesting if I put, Winnie the Pooh in The Shining. By the way, that's pretty much what my brain looks like, is Winnie the Pooh and The Shining on a regular basis. I like both little kid story characters, and I like scary movies. So I like musicals. I think that makes me an interesting. My kids don't know what to do with me half the time. Okay, wow, we're getting some very different. And then again, I'm going to ask you to title it. So on the subject, after you posted your image, you can go back in and edit it, and add a subject to it. So on the subject, go ahead and give it a creative mashup title. So you're giving us a little bit of what it is the answer, which is fine. We're not really guessing on this one as much, but we want to see. All right, I got to go over to, oh wait, late logging in. Yes. Oh, and Connie, don't worry about it. There's the post for the other 3 Padlets that Zareen just dropped in, but also I'll share with you the resources at the end that have links to all these, plus a lot of bonus stuff too. So I'm going to switch over to our third wall and see how the answers are flying in on this one. This is my storybook movie mashup. Again, famous character in a famous scene. Give it a new mashup clever title. Kermit is back. It's Kermit. Oh wow. Next level. That's gonna be really hard to, although I do like Sousageddon a little bit. Is that Cat in the Hat and Armageddon mashed up, or Bluey in the Matrix? We have so much stuff. Now I won't be able to unsee Master Ham Solo anytime soon. From Toy Story. Harry Potter visiting Andy's home in Toy Story. That's awesome. Yes. Mocking Jaws instead of Mocking Jays. Very good. Clever audience. See, but you'll notice also, I didn't start with this. We obviously started with the favorites. Those of you that were joining late, we started with kind of a warm up with favorites that are more about us. The second one was more creativity tied to music. Now we're using different Cat to the Future. Now we're taking actual iconic kind of scenes. The Darth Slipper. Okay, let me go to my slideshow view that you just showed me recently. So if I just hit slideshow, let's start from the first one.
Yep, yes.
Awesome, right there. Okay, so it's giving me my lead in, and then it goes slide to slide. So other question, as I'm going through these, I noticed there's 2 of 28. Never mind, I already answered the question. So someone just added one. I love it. It added to my slide. So as I'm showing these, it's also going to go through. Yeah, so I'm going to manually do this one instead of auto. I hope it stays afloat. Oh no, iceberg. Is this the Dr. Seuss Titanic of some sort? Beloved. Oh, nice. Yes. All right. I see we've got some Terminator and Louise. I'll be back with Thelma. All right, the Matrix, the blue edition. Take the blue pill, the bluey pill. Yes, I love this Sousageddon. There's a lot of Star Wars mixed with this. This is what's the Little Mermaid, right? Yeah, the Little Princess Leia, Star Wars, Kermit. That one just I actually have to change it because that's creeping me out right now. Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier, where someone put the subject, but they didn't post the image. So if I would have made it required, they would have had to have added it. Alice in Wonderland. Top Gun, top long stocking. Elmo and Herbie go to the city. We saw the Harry Potter, the Lorax Runner instead of Maze Runner. For I speak for the trees. Oh, classic. Yes, Cat to the Future. The DeLorean's actually not too bad, although there's something else happening with the car there. Oh, and I like that you use the 4 images. Again, different ways of doing it, but if you wanted to, you could grab those images and drop it as an attachment as well. Dirty Red Riding. Oh my goodness. I'll never be able to unsee that in my life. The Darth Slipper. Y'all are bringing the heat today. This is awesome. Gatsby and Holes. May the Force be Harry. What just happened? If Harry Potter was a wizard with a lightsaber, this is amazing. Yes. Whoa. No way. Stop. The Joker, but it's the Cat in the Hat. Joker. Oh my goodness. Okay, Sleepwalking, like Sleepwalking Dead. Oh, you should get that title. 101 Dalmatians and the Birds. Ooh, Hitchcock. Good. Big Bad Top. Harry Potter. Okay, The Last Roar, Final Destination, like the Lion King. maybe. Miss Frizzle in Star Wars. Oh, Miss Frizzle was stuck in space. Fast and Furious for Cookie. This is good. Oh, the search for Eeyore. Nice. Harry, is that Rocky? That's phenomenal. Thank you. You're playing to the Philly person here. Yeah, I see what you're doing. I'm not the judge though. You guys are the judge. Biombo Beck Wallace. Is this like Bilbo Baggins mixed with William Wallace? Supposed to be Cat in the Hat combined with Beetlejuice. Oh, but it came out looking like the Joker. Oh, okay, TR, thanks. My heart will go on. And then Superman down there, nice. Oh, James and Cinderella. Mickey and the Sorcerer's Stone. Oh, so Disney. Okay, watch out. We have to go through that one quick. We don't want to get anyone in trouble. Harry Potter. Very good. Very good. This is awesome. All right, go ahead. If you haven't yet, go ahead and get your gentlemen prefer eyes. Get your votes in. I want to make sure you have time for the last one, which is a little bit tricky. Ooh, Titanic and Frozen mixed in. Ogre in Ape City. Oh, like that's Planet of the Apes, but with Shrek, right? And then Expecto Patronum. Man, I'm a big Harry Potter fan too. Sandy and the Purple Crayon. Sandy, is that Sandy from Greece? Yes, I think it might be. Wow. There's so much to think here. This Road Warrior, this is yeah, that's the movie coming out, the Mad Max and the Tiger going on there. All right. So let me switch back over. Now let's see if I get now that I've learned my handy dandy sorting trick. Thank you so much for that. This is going to save me so much time. All right, here we go. And it looks like our winner is, it's close, but our winner is Master Ham Solo. So Mr. Ham Solo, Pen Spark you put at the bottom there. Go ahead and drop into the tell us who you are. Janet, that was you? No. That's amazing. All right. Good job, Janet. Well, all the way from California, joining us from the West Coast as well. And with that, we are up to our final, and this is going to be the hardest one. So I saved this one for last. We've warmed up. We've had some fun. We understand kind of how the prompts are working. We understand what they can and can't generate. And so what we're going to do is next is our final icebreaker. And this is, I saved this one for later because if you're doing this with staff or with students, it is particularly challenged. It's a bit of a SEL activity because it's going to involve some self-reflection. Your job now is going to be to create an AI self-portrait. You're only going to be able to use words to do it. So you can't like upload your image like I did on the earlier scene where I had an image and made it look like a cartoon version of me. This is my words right here in Padlet you see on the screen there and the image that was generated. And in this case, I did like a large, overweight, white male with a gray and white beard, with a gray jacket, a black t-shirt with something on it, and a bar in the back. And I had my prompt was a mile long, and I kept changing it and tweaking it. So what you're going to do is, and this is kind of be a two-parter. So the first part is creating the image of yourself. So don't be in a hurry through this part. Take your time, get the right image. You're going to have to draw what you look like currently, like what you're wearing. So look at what looked at again, because you're going to take a picture of yourself too, your real self in a second. So on this one, we're going to go to mrhook.it/self, which is now in the chat. You're going to use the I can't draw. You're going to describe yourself and what you're wearing, make adjustments again, change prompt, get it as close as you can, possibly. And then you're going to post it. And what we've done is, Zareen has told me about a new feature. This is really new, like just in the last week, right, Zareen? Tell me about what's going on here.
This is super new. So you might not have seen it yet, even if you're one of our Padleteers. When you turn on comments now, you could always do text comments, but now there's this little icon right next to where Carl put in this image here, and you can add multimedia comments. So if you click on that, you'll get a little picker menu and you can do images as well. And soon we'll be adding even more options for your multimedia comments there.
And so what we're going to ask you to do is, after you've figured out your prompt and kind of gotten it as close as you can to yourself, you may even want to add some background, because what's going to happen is you're going to have to turn on your camera. And if you're doing this on a computer, you'll want to allow your camera to be used when you get to that part. If you're doing this on your phone, it'll probably also ask you to allow you to use your photo roll. And then what you're going to do is take a picture of you in this moment, try to pose the exact way your self-image looks like. I'm so excited about this. I've done this before, but when I did it before, I had to have people like hold up their laptop, and then somebody else had to like take a picture, and then it just became kind of a mess. So I'm excited to see what people are going to create on this one. And I'm going to do my own as well. So again, this one I've noticed already, it's taking some time. So we're going to leave this instruction screen up a little bit. And then, yes, let me see. And I'm going to do this. we'll have a little bit of background music as we plan for this as well. Okay. And I'm going to try it myself. So I'm going to do it. Mine will be probably not as, I'm not going to spend as much time on my prompt because I want to make sure I'm watching what you guys are doing too. But I'm going to try this. One thing I've noticed is this is the hardest one because we're so judgmental of what we look like. And a lot of times we look at the AI version of ourselves and go, man, I don't look anything like that. Sometimes I've looked at him going, man, I wish I looked like that. But middle-aged, I'm getting way into it too. By the way, AI makes me look younger. I'm just going to tell you that when you see mine in a second. What am I wearing? Oh, gray sports coat. T-shirt. Okay. Of course, the great thing is now with the alt feature that you just mentioned, Zareen, I can go back in and look at some of the prompts and see how close we got too. I need to probably add, yeah. And I also like with Padlet, once it's generated the images, I can go back in. So I'm actually going to switch screens to mine so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. I don't know if you'll be able to see the pop-up. Can you see the pop-up that I'm working on? Okay, good. Sometimes with some websites, the layering, it will block what I'm doing. But so I can already tell this is probably not going to be the right one, but I'm going to hit go and just kind of see what comes up. And what I love about this is, well, two things. I'll give you guys some warning for those of you who are thinking about trying these as activities. Padlet works pretty quickly, but with AI image generation, it does take a minute. And if you're working in one room with one Wi-Fi or one access point, I had this happen at TCA. So I could tell I forgot something already. Over 8 inch white male with a gray and black goatee. We'll see if that says beard maybe. And now let me reprompt. So again, showing this, modeling this for kids is so important because now we're actually doing we're actually showing them the work of like, okay, I didn't like my original outcome. Let me try to get a closer one. And because I have a blue background, although my photo will actually show a picture of my messy office behind me. So that's going to be embarrassing, but you guys will get to see it. Ooh, we're getting closer here. Man, it kind of looks a little bit like, oh, I can't remember the actor's name. But Orson Welles. I have a little bit of an Orson Welles look going on here. So I'm going to choose this one and I'm going to publish it, and then I'm going to do what you just taught me. So after I publish it, I'm going to go into did it drop all the way? There it is right there. I'm going to go into my comments. Oh, it's right here. I see it's that little mountain right there. Okay. And I'm going to choose my camera and zoom out a little bit so I can see it. So I'm looking kind of like, oh, and it gave me a countdown. Even now I look scared. Let's retake that. Oh, no. I'll redo it. Okay, here we go. So I'm kind of like, okay. He's so serious. And I'm not 100% sure that worked out, but you can kind of see how close. I probably need to get a little closer to the camera too, or reprompt it a little bit as well. But I love that feature because now, like, again, I don't have to have, holding up 3 devices, juggling a bunch of different things. Now I could just add that media in there to see how close I actually got to myself. And also see, like, in my prompting, it's, I'm a little bit off there. And what can I do to change it? Maybe do more of a dark background. By the way, we're getting some this is amazing. So I already know without even the comment that this is my friend, Sean Arnold. I can already tell Sean, but you can drop it in there, but that's a great design, by the way. And I know you've played with these a little bit too, Sean. So I think you've actually showed me some of the ones you've done as well. Some kind of versions of these using Padlet and other tools as well. I can't get AI to draw bangs, Judy says. Yeah. Again, playing with the prompts. I'm really curious to see what's happening here with the bat, because is there a bat in the room with you is what I want to know. Let's see if anyone's gotten a chance. Oh, we've got a comment. Oh, wow. Look at that. All right. Okay, now this will give me a chance to try this out. So what happens if I go slideshow here? What do you think, Zareen? Is it going to just show it probably won't show the comment, right?
Yeah, I think it's just going to show the post, but it's a good experiment.
Yeah. Just that, and there's not a little pop-up or anything down here. No. Okay. Well, so in this case, yeah. And I think if I click on it too, it'll probably be the same way. Although this is interesting. So here, if I click on it, just to zoom in, it is giving me the comment over on the right, which is kind of nice. So a good way to organize that. By the way, great job on the bookshelves too. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, everything, hair, t-shirt color, that's a strong start there. That's gonna be a hard one for someone to beat. And this is our last one. We've got only a couple minutes left. So I'll give everybody a few more minutes to try. And again, we're voting on these as well. Okay. Yeah. Again, look at the shirt, the colors, the glasses. Background is a little bit trickier. It's hard to get a background right. If you're like, okay, it's a white wall with a lamp in the background, right? Mine isn't loading my image on yours. Huh. Wonder what's happening, Kim, with yours. It's not able to do it. Okay. Well, there's somebody who's able to, even with the tilt there is really good too. I like that you've got the tilt kind of going on here. You almost got to get your angle just about right, you know, lighting, hair up. The one thing I've noticed is that the hardest thing for it to do is to get that. By the way, I didn't know we had Grey's Anatomy here, but this is amazing that she's here. The hardest thing I've got it to figure out is like, again, hairstyle. Now for me, it's not much. It's just there's a little bit up here, but there's not a lot. So, but yeah, wow, Sean, crushing it. You're looking very tan, Sean, my friend, in the AI picture, but also you got some great window shots there. Yeah, standing in front of some bamboo. For a minute, I thought you were going to be joining us from the Caribbean or somewhere, but yes, Sean, by the way, the EdTech Poetry Slam, the reigning champion, who will be at ISTE. For those who will be at ISTE, Sean will be defending his title. A little plug for that. This is really good. Kristen, look at you. I love it. Of course, Kristen Brooks with the pink. If those of you who don't know Kristen Brooks, look her up. She's had a pink jacket on. That's how I could figure out who that is. I like that you actually wrote the prompt on this one too. So again, I'm looking at the prompts and the alts. We can actually see again with detail kind of what's happening. I think I've zoomed in so much that I've messed up my own thing. There we go. Fort Blount. And you'll talking about facial structure, eye placement, eyebrows. Again, the more complex these get. This one's got the coffee right there. Awesome. Good job. I think that's Melissa. I think I know her too. It's funny how many of these people I know. It's like I've recognized so many of these people too, just from their AI images too. I wish I could hug myself that easily. Evidently, I have 3 arms. What's happened? Okay. So this is also good when this happens. This is a great time to also talk about, and you'll see this when you do this with your students, especially, is that every now and then you'll see a random leg, a random arm, AI image generation, not fully baked, like I mentioned at the beginning. Wow, got the hair pretty close on that one. You need some flowers and deer and stuff kind of in the background there, but it's pretty close. All right, let's get our votes in. We've got 3 minutes left, and I'll go back to this in just a second, but I want to make sure I give everybody a chance to get to the resources page too. And again, we'll be sharing this out. Pat will be sharing this out for everyone that's registered, a recording of this as well. If you're interested in additional resources, I've actually got, let me switch over to that slide. I've actually got some extra stuff for you. It's a form basically to show me that you're not a robot or whatever. But essentially it'll send you to, it's a Google Doc, and it's very plain. I should have made this a Padlet. Man, that would have been brilliant. I totally missed the ball on that one, Zareen and Tosh, sorry. It's a Google Doc, but I add to it a lot. And so it's a running Google Doc. And what I do in there is I have AI image generators. I have the Padlet walls that I'm going to add to that as well once I freeze them. Now that I've learned how to do that. I'm also there's also a lot of different AI and other creative AI tools, not just image generators, but movie generators, song generators, things like that, as well as several blogs, including Karaoke, which was the original inspiration for this webinar. So if you want to check out that resources link, it'll take you to a form, fill it out, it'll auto send you, or even on the exit, it'll say, hey, here's a Google Doc. It's just to make sure, because someone hacked it one time as well. And thank you, Zareen, for the book. All right, so for the book plug. So we're gonna go back to get our votes, and everyone's getting their votes in right now. So if you didn't have a chance, again, we kind of sped through this last one. By the way, just gorgeous images, great job. And you could see why we start with this one last too, because it's a little bit more challenging. And I'll be honest, I've done this with lots of groups in the past. And one of the things that I've noticed is it's hard to really self-assess and self-reflect and be honest with yourself at what you look like. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now before I show you the winner. Doing this, I tried this one other way where I had someone else in the crowd describe someone else in the room. And if they're really comfortable with each other, you can get away with it. But if they're not, it gets uncomfortable. So I would avoid that at all costs, because unless you really know your team well, it's going to be really uncomfortable. I like to sometimes add in a hobby, things like that. Our winner, and I'm not surprised, is Sean Arnold. Congratulations, sir. You are the winner there for your photograph. Yes, that's right. Amazing job there, Sean Arnold. Will be sending you. I think, Sean, you don't have a copy of my book. I don't think he does. I've seen Sean a couple of times. So again, check him out in IRL, as the kids say. Actually, it's not in IRL, it's IRL. At the ISTE, those of you that'll be at ISTE, would love to see you at the Poetry Slam on Tuesday night. Thank you everybody for joining and being a part of it. Anything to wrap up, Zareen?
Well, Jim, thank you so much. I'll put this back in the chat. We would love your feedback. We're always looking for more ideas. This was so fun, Carl. Thank you so much for these amazing activities. We will be sending out a recording to anyone who registered. Also, I put in the link for our other upcoming Padlet sessions. So we have all our recordings there and also upcoming fun sessions. So please join us again. I'm so glad you all could come. And thanks again, Carl, for all these really, really fun activities.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for having us. We'll see
Thanks,
you
everyone.
live somewhere. You never know.
See you at ISTE.
See
Bye.
you at ISTE. Yes.